Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for many of us. Have you ever felt like you're playing different roles throughout your day? You're one person at work, completely different with your friends, and then someone else entirely when you're with family. And then, when you finally hit the pillow at night, that nagging question pops into your head: who is the real me? If that resonates with you, even just a little, then you might be caught in what the 19th century Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard called self-betrayal. By the end of this video, you'll understand why we constantly crave validation, and how, in that relentless pursuit, we often lose sight of our true selves. More importantly, we'll explore actionable strategies to break free from this cycle and start living a life that truly aligns with who you are. Before we jump in, drop a comment below and type "Real Me" if this topic speaks to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Ready? Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Psychology of Seeking Validation. Let's kick things off with a simple question. When was the last time you did something purely for yourself, without a single thought about what anyone else might think? Think about it. How many times a day do we consciously or subconsciously adjust our behavior based on how others might perceive us? Whether it's posting a photo on Instagram, speaking up in a meeting, or even just ordering coffee at a cafe. Psychological research indicates that the average modern individual considers others' perspectives an astonishing 67 times a day. 67 times. Do you realize how significant that number is? If we consider 16 waking hours, that's roughly once every 15 minutes that we're asking ourselves, what will others think of me? This phenomenon is particularly pronounced among adults aged 25 to 45. Why? Because this period is packed with pivotal life decisions, career building, forming significant relationships, establishing social standing, and more. You see people meticulously curating their success on LinkedIn, showcasing blissful family lives on Facebook, and flaunting picture-perfect lifestyles on Instagram. But are any of these curated versions truly reflective of who we are? Kierkegaard, nearly 2 centuries ago, pinpointed this very issue. He termed it the individual in the crowd. On the surface, you appear well-adjusted and integrated into society, but beneath that veneer, you've lost your authentic voice. It's crucial to understand that the desire for validation itself isn't inherently negative. The problem arises when that desire becomes the master of our lives, when we become slaves to that need for external approval. Chapter 2. Kierkegaard's concept of self-betrayal. Kierkegaard famously described human existence as progressing through 3 stages: the aesthetic, the ethical, and the religious. Today, we're going to zero in on a pitfall many of us commonly encounter: self-betrayal. So, what exactly is self-betrayal? Simply put, it's abandoning your true self to live as others expect you to. But Kierkegaard's definition delves far deeper and is significantly more complex. He defines self-betrayal as being in despair over not being oneself. The phrase "being oneself" here is key. Just as we form relationships with others, we also form a relationship with ourselves. Think about it. What kind of relationship do you have with yourself? Do you nurture yourself? Or are you constantly self-critical? Do you honor your emotions, or do you suppress them? Are you pursuing your own dreams, or are you living to fulfill the expectations of others? A hallmark of Kierkegaard's self-betrayal is its unconsciousness. Most people are completely unaware that they are betraying themselves. It's like a fish being unaware it's in water. Let me give you an example. I know a friend, a brilliant lawyer. They went to law school to meet their parents' expectations and now work at a prestigious firm. On the surface, it looks like a highly successful life. Yet, they dread waking up every morning because their true passion was to be an artist. This is precisely what Kierkegaard meant by self-betrayal. Socially successful, yes, but completely disconnected from their relationship with themselves. Why then do we fall into this self-betrayal? Kierkegaard traced the reason back to anxiety. As free beings, humans are constantly faced with choices, and we must bear the responsibility for those choices. This freedom and responsibility give rise to anxiety. So, to escape this anxiety, many individuals surrender themselves to the expectations of others or the norms of society. They think, if I just do what everyone else is doing, I'll be safe. But this, Kierkegaard argues, is precisely where self-betrayal begins. Chapter 3. Self-betrayal in modern society, real-world examples. Now let's look at concrete examples to see how self-betrayal manifests in modern society. You've probably experienced some of these yourself. First, self-betrayal on social media. Have you ever stopped to consider the impact platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn have on us? We unconsciously strive to post content that will garner the most likes and approval. We're not showcasing our authentic lives, but rather a curated version that looks good to others. For instance, you might have had a terrible day, but you post a smiling photo on Instagram. Or you're feeling incredibly lonely, but your Facebook feed only shows you having a great time with friends. If this continues, we eventually become disconnected from our true feelings. Second, self-betrayal in the workplace. This is a common issue for many professionals. To get promoted, to maintain good relationships with colleagues, or simply to avoid being laid off, people suppress their true thoughts and values. They remain silent in meetings when they have dissenting opinions, tolerate unfair treatment, and give up on what they truly want to do for the sake of stability. After years of this, many find themselves unsure of what they genuinely desire. Third, self-betrayal in relationships. This is particularly prevalent in romantic and platonic relationships. People hide their true selves to be loved by their partner or to maintain friendships. For example, you might force yourself to pick up hobbies your partner enjoys, or strive to live up to your friend's expectations. However, relationships built on this foundation are ultimately hollow, because it's not the real you that's being loved, but a false version of you. Fourth, self-betrayal in consumption patterns. This takes a slightly different angle. What we buy and how we consume can also be linked to self-betrayal. Often we buy things not because we truly need them, but because of how we think they'll make us appear to others. Luxury handbags, expensive cars, fine dining experiences. It's not that these things are inherently bad. The problem arises when we use them to try and prove our worth. Kierkegaard foresaw this phenomenon, stating, "When people seek to prove their existence through external things, they become increasingly estranged from themselves." What's the common thread running through all these examples? It's prioritizing the self that others want over the real me. And when this persists, we eventually lose touch with who we are and what we truly desire. Chapter 4. The psychological consequences of self-betrayal. The impact of self-betrayal on us is more severe than you might think. It's not just a little uncomfortable, it directly affects our mental health and overall quality of life. First, identity crisis. One of the most immediate consequences of sustained self-betrayal is an identity crisis. You become unable to clearly answer the question, "Who am I?" In psychology, this is sometimes referred to as false self syndrome. When you constantly act out a false self instead of your true self, you eventually lose track of which one is authentic. Many individuals experience this crisis in their mid-30s or early 40s. A significant portion of what we commonly call midlife crisis stems precisely from this identity confusion. Second, chronic anxiety and depression. Kierkegaard asserted that prolonged self-betrayal inevitably leads to anxiety and despair. Modern psychology supports this with numerous research findings. Constantly suppressing your true emotions and living up to others' expectations puts you in a state of chronic stress. If this continues, it can develop into anxiety disorders or depression. These symptoms are particularly exacerbated in modern society because platforms like social media constantly fuel comparison and competition. Third, superficial relationships. The relationships of those who engage in self-betrayal are often superficial. Because they hide their true selves, it becomes difficult to form deep connections with others. Such individuals often have many acquaintances but few true friends. This is because genuine intimacy forms when we know and accept each other's authentic selves. Fourth, loss of creativity and passion. This is a particularly important issue, especially in professional contexts. People who betray themselves often lose their creativity. Why? Because creativity stems from one's unique perspective, and they've abandoned that perspective. They also lose genuine passion. It's hard to feel true passion when living a life tailored to others' expectations. This is why many people experience burnout. Fifth, physical symptoms. Surprisingly, self-betrayal can also manifest as physical symptoms. Chronic headaches, digestive issues, insomnia, and weakened immunity are common examples. This is because our mind and body are not separate but connected as a single system. When the mind is stressed, the body responds accordingly. Kierkegaard called this state despair. However, his despair isn't just sadness, it signifies a state of being alienated from one's relationship with oneself. And he also offered a way to escape this despair. Chapter 5. Kierkegaard's solution. Becoming your true self. So, what solution did Kierkegaard propose for this profound problem? The core of his philosophy is becoming one's true self. But this, as you might imagine, is easier said than done. Step 1: awareness. The first step is awareness. It's about recognizing that you are engaging in self-betrayal. This is harder than it sounds, because most people mistake self-betrayal for adaptation or maturity. Kierkegaard emphasized the importance of reflection for this. He argued that we must regularly take time to examine our actions and thoughts. Specifically, you can ask yourself the following questions. Why am I doing this action right now? Is this action what I truly want, or what others want? When do I feel most authentically myself? Step 2: choice. The second step is choice. Once you recognize self-betrayal, you must choose to change. Kierkegaard called this an existential choice. This choice requires immense courage, because it means abandoning others' expectations and forging your own path. Sometimes, you may have to face opposition or criticism from those around you. But Kierkegaard stated that true freedom cannot be attained without such courage. He said, "Freedom is not given freely, but must be conquered through courage." Step 3: action. The third step is actual action. No matter how much you recognize and choose, nothing changes unless you translate it into behavior. The key here is to start small. Trying to change everything at once is likely to lead to failure. Instead, it's better to begin revealing your true self in small, everyday moments. For example, speaking your genuine opinion in a meeting, sharing an honest moment on social media, expressing your true feelings to friends, investing time in activities you genuinely enjoy. Step 4: persistence. The final step is persistence. Becoming your true self is not a one-time event, but a lifelong process. Kierkegaard called it the journey of existence. Throughout this process, you will encounter many temptations and challenges. There will be moments when you want to revert to the safe state of self-betrayal. But each time you overcome these moments, you become a stronger version of yourself. Kierkegaard particularly emphasized the importance of solitude. To become your true self, you sometimes need time alone. You cannot hear your inner voice if you are constantly surrounded by others. Chapter 6: Modern Application, Practical Strategies. Now let's explore concrete ways to apply Kierkegaard's philosophy to modern life. Strategy 1: digital detox. Social media is one of the biggest drivers of self-betrayal. Take regular digital detoxes to free yourself from the gaze of others. Spend weekends without your smartphone. Designate specific times during the day as social media free zones. Commit to one full digital detox day per week. These periods will allow you to hear your genuine thoughts and emotions. Strategy 2: journaling. Kierkegaard himself kept a lifelong journal. Writing down your thoughts and feelings is highly effective for increasing self-awareness. Every night before bed, answer these questions. When was I most authentically myself today? When did I act according to others' expectations? How can I be more authentically myself tomorrow? Strategy 3: clarify your values. It's crucial to clearly define your own values. Not the values of others, but your true personal values. On a piece of paper, list the things that are genuinely important to you in order. Then, assess how well your current life aligns with these values. Strategy 4: practice saying no. One of the biggest traits of people who betray themselves is their inability to refuse. They overextend themselves to avoid disappointing others. Start small and practice saying no. It might feel awkward and induce guilt at first, but you'll get more comfortable with it over time. Strategy 5: build authentic relationships. Seek out deep, meaningful relationships rather than superficial ones. This requires you to be willing to show your vulnerable side. Gradually reveal your true self to 1 or 2 trusted individuals. Not the perfect version, but the imperfect, authentic you. Strategy 6: engage in creative activities. Creative activities are excellent means of self-expression. Drawing, writing, making music, dancing. Anything goes. The key is the process, not the outcome. It should be purely for your own self-expression, not for showing off to others. Strategy 7: seek a mentor or coach. Sometimes it can be difficult to change alone. In such cases, seeking professional help is a good option. Share your journey of change with a therapist, life coach, or a respected mentor. Chapter 7: conclusion and actionable steps. Friends, today we've taken a deep dive into the problem of self-betrayal that modern individuals face, viewed through the lens of Kierkegaard's philosophy. I hope you've recognized how incredibly relevant and crucial the insights of a 19th century Danish philosopher remain, even 200 years later. Let's recap the core takeaways. First, the desire for validation is natural, but it must not dominate our lives. While being aware of others' perspectives, we must also cherish our relationship with ourselves. Second, self-betrayal often occurs unconsciously. Therefore, regular self-reflection and introspection are essential. It takes courage to honestly examine the motivations behind our actions and choices. Third, change must begin small. Rather than abrupt transformations, revealing your true self in small, everyday moments is more sustainable and effective. Now, I'm giving you concrete action steps to implement. Week 1, challenge self-observation. Every evening, spend 5 minutes reflecting on your day's actions. Ask yourself, when was I my true self, and when was I my false self? Briefly note your observations in your smartphone's memo app. Week 2, challenge small changes. Once a day, make an authentic choice that deviates from your usual pattern. Examples: order the food you really want, voice your true opinion, say no to something you don't want to do. Week 3, challenge relationship experiment. Share a genuine part of yourself with one close person. Include your imperfect, vulnerable aspects. Observe and record their reaction. Week 4, challenge values clarification. Write down the 5 most important values to you. Assess how well your current life aligns with these values. Create a plan for improving any areas of misalignment. Remember, as Kierkegaard said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. It might feel challenging and confusing right now, but looking back, you'll see how invaluable this process truly was. Becoming your true self is not a destination, but a journey. It's not a perfect place to arrive at, but a direction to choose in every moment. Sometimes you'll make mistakes. Sometimes you might slip back into old patterns, and that's okay. The important thing is to not give up and to keep moving forward. Finally, I want to convey one more crucial message. Do not think that stopping self-betrayal is selfish or bad. Quite the opposite. When you become your true self, you can offer more genuine and deeper relationships to others. The real you, not the false you, can contribute more value to the world. I hope this video serves as a catalyst for you to build a healthier relationship with yourself. And please, help others around you break free from self-betrayal too. Share your experiences in the comments below. Tell us when you've felt self-betrayal and how you're trying to overcome it. All our experiences can help each other. Subscribing and liking this video helps more people receive this message. And if you hit that notification bell, you won't miss any future videos on psychology and philosophy. If you're interested in other Kierkegaardian concepts, such as the 3 stages of despair or the aesthetic, ethical, and religious spheres of existence, let me know in the comments. We'll tailor future video topics based on your interests. Lastly, if this video has helped you, please share it with your friends and colleagues. Especially recommend it to anyone you know who might be struggling with identity issues right now. Growing together is the most meaningful work we can do. Remember, you are already valuable enough. Your worth isn't contingent on external validation. Your existence itself is already special and meaningful. Now embrace that truth and find the courage to live as your true self. See you in the next video. Until then, nurture that relationship with yourself. Thank you.